What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Naked Healthy, where we heal through food. So today I want to talk about what sugar is good for you and what sugar is bad for you, because this shit is confusing. There's a pretty good reason why 70% of Americans are overweight and 45% of Americans are obese. It's because of the sugar in our food. So if you don't know what sugar is good for you and what sugar is bad for you, then how the hell are you supposed to make healthy choices on what to eat? So what I want to talk about is 4 things in this video. Number 1, we know sugar is confusing. Why is it so confusing? Number 2, the health effects of sugar. Number 3, how to quit sugar. And number 4, what sugar is good for you and what sugar is bad for you. Let's get to it. The reason that this shit is so confusing is because everything is marketed as healthy. Let's use a Cliff Bar, for example. A Cliff Bar weighs approximately 68 grams, and it has something like 19 grams of sugar in it. So it's around 21 or 22% sugar in a Cliff Bar that you think is healthy. We have to look at the sugars, and we have to look at the serving size. A lot of the serving sizes on these things, in Arizona iced tea, it's 2.5 servings. So that can, that if you look at it, it says 23 or 26, whatever it is, somewhere around there. It's 2.5 servings. That's a lot. It adds up. So if you don't know what you're allowed to eat and what you're not allowed to eat, you're just going to keep making the wrong choices. And then what's going to happen is your gut bacteria dictates your cravings. So if you're eating sugar, you're just going to absolutely crave more sugar and crave more sugar. They did a study where they put rats in a cage and they gave them the option between cocaine and sugar. And as long as the rats had other rats to play with, they would go sugar, sugar, sugar. Sugar is literally worse than cocaine as far as being addictive. Let's talk about the health effects of sugar. Obviously, if you're ingesting sugar, you're going to be more tired. It's going to cause issues with your heart. It's going to give you high cholesterol. It's going to make your skin look bad. We know all of those things. It's going to do other than that, though. It is literally going to attack your mitochondria. So your mitochondria are in each one of your cells. You have 30 to 40 trillion cells throughout your body. In each one of those cells, you have 1,000 to 2,500 mitochondria. Those mitochondria get their ass kicked by sugar. It's like them stepping in the ring with Tyson. They're just going to get beat up and beat up and beat up. They are not going to be able to repair themselves if you are constantly ingesting sugar. They have oxidative stress. It's like taking a sand gun and spraying your car with it. Your car door is just going to rust over time. It's the same exact thing. Your mitochondria are directly what make energy. They take food and oxygen, put that together, they make ATP. They give you energy. If you are ingesting too much sugar, you're not going to have energy. The more sugar that you eat, the less energy that you have, the less ATP that you have. The less ATP that you have, the less you're going to want to work out. When you work out, you actually help build more ATP. So it's this vicious cycle. If you're eating a bunch of sugar, you're going to feel tired. You're not going to want to work out. Guess what's going to happen the next day? The same exact thing. So how I quit sugar, I already did a video on this, but I'm just going to go over this really quickly. I cut this down in 3 phases. First phase, I cut out ice cream or whatever your favorite treat is. For me, it was ice cream. That was step 1. I'm just going to do this quickly. You can go watch the other video. Step 2 is cut out chocolate. If you cut out chocolate, it's in most products. So it's in granola bars, it's in cereals, it's in all this different stuff. So if you were able to cut out chocolate, you are going to eliminate like 65 to 70% of all the sweet stuff that's available. Then I weaned myself down and I said, okay, after I got the ice cream, no more cravings. The chocolate, no more cravings. And it was just the sugar, so it was just like sweet stuff that didn't have those other 2 things in it. Then I eliminated that, but I allowed myself chips and a burger and things like that that were more fatty and satiating, but that did not have sugar in it. I know that's not good for you either. However, I had a massive sugar addiction that I could not quit. Could not quit. I would wake up, I would have bags on the floor of candy that I would eat in the middle of the night. It was bad, okay? So ice cream first, or your favorite treat, whatever that is, pies, cakes, whatever, then chocolate, then sugar. That's it. And by that point, I'm good. I haven't had sugar in 6 months. Let's talk about what sugar is safe and what sugar is not safe. There's lots of sugar alternatives other than these 4 that I'm going to give you, but I'm going to explain why I don't think that those are really as good for you as they are marketed. I like honey, maple syrup, coconut sugar, and palm sugar. Now, the honey needs to be local honey. Don't just go buy some random bullshit. It needs to be local honey to your area. It's very important. Most of the other honeys all tested positive for high fructose corn syrup in all these random tests. You need to get local honey that's trusted from either a farmer or from your grocery store where it is clearly local. The maple syrup. You want to make sure that you get grade A organic maple syrup. There are no other ingredients in it. They will add high fructose corn syrup to that. They will add sugar to it. They'll add flavor to it. Just maple syrup. Coconut sugar and palm sugar. Those are made from the palm tree. All right. Do I need to go into how healthy a coconut is and coconut oil? I have a friend of mine that literally got an oil burn. She hit a pan and blocked her face from the oil. She had a webbed hand for about 3 weeks because she burned herself so badly. Every single day, coconut oil. You'd absolutely never know that she ever burned herself. It is antimicrobial. It's antifungal. The palm tree is amazing. Think about where they grow. Okay, they're in a tropical climate. There's something about a palm tree that is special. Coconut sugar is loaded with nutrients. Palm sugar is loaded with nutrients. They both have antioxidants. Regular table sugar is loaded with glyphosate. It's bleached. I'm going to get into the stuff that you can't have. But those are the 4 that I really like. Honey, maple syrup, palm sugar, and coconut sugar. Now, I know I'm going to upset a whole lot of people because I didn't say monk fruit and I didn't say stevia. Let's go into that really quickly. I'm not fully convinced about monk fruit yet. The jury is still out, in my opinion. It's too new. I just need more data. That's it. Maybe I'll in 6 weeks, I'll be like, you know what? Yep, look, we got all this great new information. But I know there's antioxidants, and I know they thought agave nectar was healthy for a very long time, and it is not. That is pure shit. So I just want to make sure before I'm giving suggestions on what I feel like is truly healthy, that I feel it in my core that it's good for you. Okay? Stevia. If you look at the side of the box of stevia, you're going to see dextrose. What they don't tell you is that they mix those two at very high temperatures and there's a chemical reaction. You're not just getting the stevia leaf where it's just like pressed and you're just getting the sweetness from it. It's a little bit mutated. The problem with a lot of these alternatives that a bee didn't make or a tree didn't make is that it's ultra processed. To make the 4 that I talked about, they are very minimally processed to get from where they come from to your table. Whereas stevia or dextrose or table sugar, the amount that goes into table sugar that is, first of all, it's genetically modified. Second of all, it's loaded with glyphosate. It's grown in soil that is very nutrient just bland. Our soil here is terrible. And like I said earlier, it's bleached. It's just not naturally that white. 0-calorie sweeteners are going to destroy your gut bacteria. I know that's not the news that you wanted. I know it would be a lot easier if we could just chow down on all these 0-calorie sweeteners. I remember a few years ago when all this stuff, maybe it was 15 years ago now, I had a friend of mine and she was just chowing down all this sugar-free chocolate. And I was just like, intuitively, this doesn't feel right to me. This feels like too much of a cheat. Lo and behold, it destroys your gut bacteria. So what it's going to do is it's going to trigger you into being more hungry. You're going to eat food. Stuff's going to happen in your digestive system. And then your body's going to be like, wait a minute, where are the nutrients? Where are the vitamins and the minerals and all of that stuff? Because there isn't any. So it's going to trick your digestive system, and then you're still going to be hungry. And then you're just going to crave more stuff. So the 0-calorie sweeteners, not only are they not good for you and they're loaded with chemicals like aspartame is horrible, it creates migraines and tumors and cancer and all sorts of different things, but the other 0-calorie sweeteners that they're starting to move away from aspartame to the other ones, they're not good for you either. If you are going to wean yourself down, just eat the real sugar. If you're going to drink a soda, just drink the regular soda. I know that might sound crazy. I would much rather you be able to work off the calories from the sugar than the damage that it's doing even further than that to your microbiome. Your microbiome is where a lot of your neurotransmitters are formed, and your serotonin comes from there. 95% of your serotonin comes from your digestive system, up your vagus nerve into your brain. If you are not ingesting healthy, real food, you're not going to have much of that serotonin. And then what's going to happen? You're going to need an antidepressant. We are overwhelmingly a nation overprescribed of antidepressants. If you came and lived with me for 3 weeks, I guarantee you, most people would be feeling significantly better. I could have your life 100% flipped upside down, sleeping better, using the bathroom better, your digestive system is better, your microbiome it starts to shift in only 24 hours. If you're on a diet that's been taking you months and months and months and months, you're on the wrong diet. Change that shit. Start eating real food. I'm going to go through everything on what you can eat on this channel. Let's just talk about the sugars that you should not be eating, okay? Breads, shitty carbs, crackers, chips, white bread, wheat bread, mostly ultra-processed food. Anything that doesn't need to be refrigerated, anything that can just sit on a shelf, anything that isn't going to go moldy in a short amount of time. Back in the day, good bread would go moldy relatively quickly. Now it's literally designed with chemicals and all this extra sugar in it so that it has a longer shelf life. They add sugar to milk for flavor. So they literally add sugar to everything. The food industry changed back in the day around like the 70s and 80s when they started removing fat from everything and fat became the enemy. What did they do? They replaced it with sugar. So, because otherwise everything's just going to taste like cardboard. So you want to really stay away from ultra-processed foods. The reason why is because those carbohydrates literally convert to sugar in your body. You ingest them, they go down, they break down, boop, they go into your bloodstream, they convert to sugar. It's almost the same exact thing as just eating sugar. Fruit juice. It's another big one, okay? I know a lot of people think that fruit juice is good for you. It's not. It's not. Fruit's good for you. Spoiler warning. We'll get to that in just a minute. But there's no fiber in fruit juice, okay? So picture taking a cooler and dumping the ice out on hot pavement, how that ice is going to just melt really, really quickly. That is what liquid, like sugary drinks, sodas and fruit juices and things like that, that's how quickly they get absorbed into your metabolism. It is fast, baby. They just get straight in there. And then what happens is it overloads your liver converts it to fat, and then it just goes into your bloodstream. And that sugar literally converts to fat. And it will get lodged and scrape and do all sorts of things to your arteries and your veins. It can affect your heart, can affect your cholesterol, all sorts of things. I want to very clearly express to you guys that if you are regularly consuming processed sugars, you are going to be tired, have brain fog, have lack of energy, have lack of motivation, and you're going to gain body fat. You need to eliminate as much sugar as you possibly can. Eliminate the zero-calorie stuff as much as you can. What's going to keep you full? Healthy fats, protein, and you know what else? Self-pride. I know that sounds weird, but when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you look healthier than you did when you went to bed, it's a pretty freaking good feeling. If you are going to have a sweet tooth, it's really important to ingest your sugar around the times that you're going to be active. I recognize when the sun goes down and we've eaten dinner, that's sweet tooth time. I very much understand that. Here's my trick for that. Eat fruit, okay? I don't give a shit what anybody says about eating fruit at night or anything like that. If you are trying to wean your way out of sugar, you're going to have withdrawal symptoms. You are going to crave sugar like crazy. I've given up alcohol, cigarettes, cocaine, sugar, dairy, corn, porn, not in that order. I've given up a lot of stuff. So I'm very much aware of what it's like to be suffering from withdrawal symptoms. We all think we're strong. When we watch documentaries, we'll sit back and we'll watch and we're like, it wouldn't affect me like that. That if I was in that situation, I wouldn't feel like that. We're all pretty much the same. You're going to suffer withdrawal symptoms. It's going to be hard. Eat fruit. Buy pomegranate. Buy pineapple. Buy the Cara oranges. Buy fun stuff. Don't buy like normal shit. You don't just want to be a banana. It's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. You need something that's satiating to you. The nice thing about a pomegranate, you cut that bad boy in half, turn it over, like rip it apart, pull the seeds out, or you can just turn the pomegranate over and just spank it, and the seeds will come out. Scoop that. It's so freaking delicious. It's like juicy and crunchy. It's absolutely wonderful. It's one of my favorite nighttime snacks. Is it going to spike your blood sugar a little bit? Yes, a little bit. So is almost anything. unless you're eating healthy fats or protein. Those are the two things that are going to spike your blood sugar the least. But most of the time when you're eating food, you are going to get a glycemic spike and then you're going to get a drop off. You want to be eating fruit. The fiber in the fruit is what slows down the absorption. Remember the ice in the parking lot earlier? The fruit is like dumping ice into a cold parking lot. It's going to take a lot longer to absorb, okay? It's still going to process and absorb in your body somewhat quickly because it's juice, it's hitting your tongue, it's going to absorb that way. But it's not going to be the same thing as just chugging fruit juice where it's just like a huge glycemic spike. You get this big insulin dump and then your blood sugar drops. What happens if you do that a lot over time, you develop insulin resistance. You do that over time, you get diabetes. And just because it's low on the glycemic index doesn't mean it's good for you, but you just want to try to stay to eat things on the low glycemic index. Agave nectar, for example, it's low on the glycemic index, but it's shit for you. Do not eat agave nectar. I didn't want to go into too much that was scientific. I just wanted to keep this very basic, bare bones. This is what you need to stay away from. This is what you can ingest. You're going to have withdrawal symptoms. Be prepared. Eat fruit. The best time to go to the grocery store is after the gym or after you've exercised. You are mentally primed for the future version of you. You've got your brain waves into a state that otherwise throughout the day you're not in. Being motivated and watching TikTok is not the same thing. I know, I'm telling them. Being motivated and being on TikTok is not the same thing as exercising and being in this just heightened state of alertness, awareness. You are a better version of yourself. You can see that version of yourself because you're working towards it. You're in that energy. You're in that flow. Hi. You want to say anything to anybody? So if you go to the gym and then go to the grocery store, you're going to be way better off. You're going to end up with way less shit in your cart than you would otherwise. Trust me, I've been doing this for years. It's way better to just hop, skip, and run around that place. It's just fruit and healthy stuff. You look at chips and you're like, what did I just do for the last hour or hour and a half? I'm going to buy chips. You're far more likely to buy like one healthy cheat thing for later, and the rest of it's going to be clean. So that's just a little easy mental hack that I've been doing for a long time that makes it a lot easier because, you know, when it comes down to it, if it's not in your house, you kind of can't fucking eat it, right? So stock up with fruit, have a whole bunch of color on your counter like it's the Garden of Eden, have some lemons and some limes and some pineapple and some oranges and a grapefruit. Cut a grapefruit in half, split it with your partner, save it for later, put it in a bowl, sprinkle a little bit of salt on it. Shit. Takes away the bitterness. It's so good. You can doctor some of these fruits up too. You don't just have to eat them plain. Hula, do you want to say anything else? Kitties and titties? Great. Thanks for watching, everybody. I love you. And comment, like, subscribe, share if you found this helpful. Now we're going to get comfortable. Okay, that's good. It's good. All right. Till next time.